Welcome to Marcus G.TV. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano.
And Jamie.
Jamie's back.
I'm back.
I'm back.
I'm here.
Came across an interesting article today. It's all over the news.
Interesting.
And we get faced with this question all the time because we are up on nutrition, because we typically eat a vegan, vegetarian diet, because we raise our kids that way, and people are concerned about their health of their children. And I'm concerned about the health of our children as well, which is why we
choose to do what we're doing.
Which I'm right, exactly. So, from Italy. Now, first of all, Italy was one of the most progressive. Actually, I take that back. The mayor of, I think, Turin made a progressive move to make that city one of the first vegetarian cities.
Oh.
Yeah, so Italy made the news on the total opposite spectrum that we're going to talk about now.
Okay.
Because the mayor of Turin said, we want to go vegetarian, let's make an all-vegetarian city, which was great. Well, now this lawmaker in Italy wants to get prison time for parents that feed their kids a vegan diet. So here's the article. This is from NBCnews.com, but it's all over. You just type this in and it pops right up. It's by
Reuters.
Reuters wrote it, yes.
Reuters wrote the article.
Yes.
So parents who feed kids a vegan diet may risk jail in Italy under new law. If parliamentarian Elvira Savino has her way, Italian parents who insist on a vegan diet for their children will risk up to 4 years in jail. Savino, from the conservative Forza Italia party, has put forward a law that would hold parents legally responsible for feeding their children on a diet devoid of elements essential for healthy and balanced growth, according to its text. I have nothing against vegans or vegetarianism, as long as it is a free choice by adults, she told Reuters on Wednesday, days after she presented the proposed law in the lower house chamber of deputies. I just find it absurd that some parents are allowed to impose their will on children in an almost fanatical religious way, often without proper scientific knowledge or medical consultation, she said.
So this is just when I read stuff like this, it drives me crazy. First of all, to say that you're forcing your kids.
Well, listen, when you're raising kids anyway, you're teaching them all of the sorts of things.
Yes.
Like, we're runners, we're bikers,
right.
We love to exercise, that kind of thing. So, of course, we're going to put that on our children. So is that fanatical? Is that make us bad parents? It's what we do. So we eat vegetarian or vegan, so we're going to do that with our children.
Exactly.
So if you are choosing to eat sugar, your children are going to eat sugar.
I think I see what kids eat all the time.
All the time.
You showed me that picture today of that mother that took those those shoe containers that go on doors, and you open up the doors and
This mother is bragging about spending $30 for her child's lunch for the month. So there's 30 slots. I think there's actually 28 slots.
There's shoe slots.
Shoe slots in like a hanging over the door hanger thing. And each slot has room for a lunch for her child to grab out and take to school every day of the month.
Chips, soda.
So what's in there is chips, soda, junk food.
Junk food. Little Debbie Hostess cakes.
Debbie cakes, things like that.
That parent should be facing jail time. That's
what she's giving her child to sustain themselves all day. So when the philosophy of this parent is, well, I'm giving my child all of this stuff, but they're going to burn it off all day long because they're running around.
That's what parents say. Oh, my kids burn that off. My kids burn that off.
Right.
Your kids might burn off the calories. They don't burn off the toxins. They don't burn off the chemicals, and they don't burn off that lifestyle. You're teaching your kids. You're imposing on your kids an easy way to eat, cutting corners, lack of nutrition, and
giving them processed foods over and over and over again.
This lawmaker should be going after fast food.
Vegan and vegetarianism, you're eating real food for the most part.
For the most part.
Not all vegan and vegetarians are.
I do agree that a vegan diet can be very unhealthy.
Right.
Vegetarian diet can be extremely unhealthy.
I guess I look at our way of eating.
The way we eat's different.
It's a little healthier. So.
But some parents that do vegetarian, or adults that do vegetarian, they're eating crap food.
Very unhealthy.
I see kids all the time.
Because they make junk food. They make like some
Processed foods, anything.
but they make them vegan. I'm thinking like chocolates and stuff like
Cakes,
that. Cakes and cookies. It's vegan, but it's not healthy.
Ice cream. They can make vegan ice cream.
Right.
So we run the kitchen at a horseback riding camp, and I see what some of these kids will only eat. Certain kids only eat pasta and butter. That's all these girls
They're not
want.
even getting any vegetables.
Yeah.
No vegetables.
Pasta and butter.
Well,
That's
they're
it.
considered a vegan, right?
But
they're only having pasta, well, butter now, but
Somebody taught them this at home. Somebody gave them the tools at home to do this, because at 2 years old, you don't cook. At 3 years old, you don't cook. So at one point, the parents had to put this crap in front of the kids.
And that's all they want.
That is imposing. That's imposing an unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy diet. So for her to say they're imposing fanatical things, it's fanatical to kill animals, to teach your kids to kill animals and kill things because you want to kill to eat. That's fanatical. Taking your kids to church and going into a strict religious thing, many view that as very fanatical. Everything we do can be viewed as fanatical. This lady is I think, a total loser. I really do.
Well, I think she needs to do some more research before she puts out her belief as to why parents should have jail time.
We were just in Italy. We spent 12 days in Italy. Yeah, there's a lot of good food. There's a lot of bad food. She should be going after the soda guys. The process. She should be going after.
Or teaching vegan and vegetarians how to make sure their children get what they need by nutrition.
That's the point I was going to make. Instead of imposing jail time, when you find out somebody's vegetarian or vegan or anything, there needs to be some kind of coaching, counseling, some kind of nutritional. You have to answer that?
No, I'll let it go.
You're going to go? You should answer it. Good thing we answered that. It was a reservation.
Yes.
For Sunday. So the bottom line is that people need to get counseling, whether they're vegetarian, vegan, or meat eaters. I think there must be a much more approach on nutrition and have this food.
Rather than spending all this money to put this person in jail, spend the money to teach and to educate. It'd just be much better off. But I think they go on and talk about
specific cases.
So the law's proposing jail sentences of a year for raising a child on a vegan diet, up to 4 years if the child develops a permanent health problem, and up to 7 years if your child dies as a result. I mean, how can you even prove that? I mean, I guess if a child is malnourished.
But what do you do when a kid that eats meat dies? Right. She addresses nothing of that. She is very strictly one-sided. I wouldn't be surprised if she was taking money from the meat industry.
She could be.
This in America, that's normal. In America, that's part of the game.
I think this all kind of stems from a 1-year-old boy who was taken to the hospital, had the weight of a 3-month-old because of a vegan diet. Well, I got to tell you,
it wasn't because of the vegan diet. It was because of a bad diet.
Bad diet.
It's a bad diet.
It's a bad diet, not the vegan diet.
There's a bad meat eating diet. There's a bad carnivore diet. There's a bad vegan diet. There's bad diets everywhere. The bottom line is you have to educate yourself. You have to read books. If you do adopt a vegan lifestyle, vegetarian lifestyle, read some books. Read the China study. Read Dr. Esselstyn.
Educate yourself. The biggest thing is educate.
There's tons of McDougall. There's tons of doctors out there that are doing this, that have perfected it, that know the ins and outs of a vegan diet. Take supplements like spirulina and chlorella with 19 or 20 amino acids in it. There's more than beef in there. So there's plenty of things that you can eat on a vegan diet that you're going to get plenty of nutrition. Quinoa. In 1982, Gary Null wrote a paper on the egg project. Because a lot of people say, oh, egg's the most nutritious food you can have. It has this, this, and this, and this, because it can hatch a baby chicken. So Gary Null said, well, I'm going to find foods that are comparable to an egg. So he analyzed all these foods. And what did he find? Quinoa. Not only equaled, but it far surpassed the nutrition of an egg. So there's foods out there that are far superior to eating a piece of meat, eating an egg. But the problem is, our society is not used to using those. They're more expensive, maybe. The food manufacturers don't want them. The pharmaceutical companies definitely don't want them.
They're not as mass-produced. They're not as out there in the open.
They're not.
As some of the other things.
And honestly, our biggest thing for us with our kids is taking work to do this.
Well, it takes a lot of work.
We didn't take our kids to McDonald's or something. Even when we were in a rush and we were on the road. We stopped into a grocery store. You bought some fruit. You bought some hummus. You brought some
guacamole.
You brought some whole grain bread, and that was our lunch on the go. And if we knew if we were traveling and we couldn't stop, we packed stuff with us. Even if it was just taking a bag of fruit and hummus from our restaurant.
And going out and making the best choices.
And when you do go out,
you have to make choices, and the best choices to
right.
make.
And the best choices is not mac and cheese,
Right.
pasta and butter, French fries. Those are not the best choices.
No.
Teach your kids to eat a salad first. Teach your kids to drink a lot of water. Teach your kids all this kind of stuff. And dessert isn't necessary.
No.
Especially when you're out and about. If you're making something at home, that's a rule. If we're making something at home and you're making something with either maple syrup in it or coconut sugar or something whole grain, more nutritious, then it's a different story than just saying, oh, because we're with people, you can have a piece of this cake with trans fats and
Right.
and butter and sugar and all this other crap in it. So I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano.
And Jamie.
Thanks for watching. If you like our videos, please hit like, subscribe to our channel. Definitely pass it on. And what is your take? Should parents be prosecuted for imposing fanatical vegan diet on their kids?